What's up guys, AJ here from the House of Masks, and if you're a regular viewer of the channel, then you'll already know that today's video is going to be something a little different. Now lately, I've been really into Retail Archaeology's channel, and I've developed quite the fascination with dying mall videos. And seeing as I've got a dying mall about 30 minutes away from the House of Masks, I figured it would be fun to shoot one of these types of videos for myself. So, today we are at the River Valley Mall in Lancaster, Ohio, and we are going to see how this place looks in March of 2026. So, let's get to it. Real quick history lesson here before we really dive into this. This mall was built in 1987, so it's definitely not the oldest mall out there. And as I mentioned, this being the closest mall to me, about 30 minutes away, this is what I've always known as my local mall. And again, this mall is located in Lancaster, Ohio, which I have come to realize that people in and around Lancaster, Ohio are the only people who pronounce it that way. Everyone else in America says Lancaster, which seems to be a more accurate pronunciation, but hey, we're just some dumb Appalachians up here, so cut us some slack. This mall does typically have 4 anchor stores, but only 3 of them are currently open and operating. That is the Cinemark Theater, the Giant Dick's, Sporting Goods, and the J.C. Penney. Apparently, the 4th anchor was an Elder Beerman's that is currently being renovated into a Rural King. What a waste. Now, as you can see, we are only a few steps into the mall itself, and we are already greeted by empty storefronts. I have no idea what this used to be, but it does look like a nice space, so it's a shame that it's sitting there empty. And you will soon realize that this is a reoccurring theme with this mall. Here we have maybe the most cursed bootleg Pikachu I've ever seen in my life at one of those little kids ride kiosks, and that is followed by empty kiosk after empty kiosk, which was quite strange to see because I feel like at most malls that I go to, the kiosks are always full. There are always a million of these little kiosks trying to rip you off with some sort of skincare lotion or fake jewelry or something like that, so to see these dead was strange. So here we have the second dead storefront of the tour. This is obviously Rue 21, and I thought that it was a little strange that they were closed until I was researching, and I read that they actually filed for bankruptcy in 2024. So I don't know when this location closed, but it's definitely closed. I'm just showing some love to the storefront here because I'm actually really into like dioramas, especially full-size ones. Any sort of outdoor stuff that is indoor for decoration, I think is pretty cool. So these lamps and these plants were very cool to see. So this next place was obviously closed for the day, but I do believe that they were still operating and in business. I just have no idea what this place is. There was absolutely no sort of context, no signage, no information. It was just a place in the mall. I have no idea. I will say that they had these beautiful glass display cases that kind of created the dividing wall between the inside of this business and the outside. And these glass cases had these crowns in them, along with some glass decor and what seemed like random pages from random books. I still don't understand, but I do want these glass cases. These things were nice. I'm gonna be honest, I've been in this mall a lot and never once realized that they had a Hot Topic, so that was interesting. We made our way into Dreamland, which is just your basic generic toy store. They have a lot of toys that you have never heard of and a couple of toys that you have. This is pretty much the same at every mall that I've ever gone to. They always have this really generic kind of off-brand toy store. I don't know how to explain them, but I never find anything that I like, which is saying something because I love toys. I am a giant child, and I've never walked into one of these stores and walked out with something, so I find that interesting. I did see just now while editing this video that they are actually closing. I saw a banner hanging from the ceiling that said store closing, and that makes sense. I initially thought that they were just kind of housing something from another store, or they were maybe expanding even. But now looking back at this footage, I can see that they are definitely just trying to get rid of stuff, and they are storing all of the old displays back there in that corner. And it's also weird to look at this video and see how run down this store looks, because when we were there in real life, it was just maybe so dimly lit that you couldn't see all of the wet spots on the ceiling. But yeah, looking back at this now, kind of creepy, to be honest. This place just does not have a good vibe. Making our way back out to the hall, I wanted to highlight these quarter machines. There are a few of these in the mall. I'm just going to do a quick walk around this one because these things used to be my jam. I absolutely loved quarter machines no matter where I went, whether it was just the supermarket or the movies or the bowling alley or the mall. I absolutely loved quarter machines, and it is sad to see how far these things have fallen. Nothing cool in these ones at all. Alright, so we have made our way to the food court, if you still want to call it that. And I say that because half of the food court has been removed, and now there are only 2 open and operating food businesses in the food court. One of them being to my right here, it's the Auntie Anne's, which is in every mall ever. If you go to a mall, you can bet that there's going to be an Auntie Anne's. I bet if you guys went to an abandoned mall that's been closed for 5 years, you would still see a fully functioning Auntie Anne's because they're crazy like that. The other spot is right here to my left. It was some sort of pizza place. I didn't get the name, but whatever. I'm pretty sure that the only reason that these 2 businesses are even still there and operating in the food court is because the employees of the other businesses at the mall need to eat lunch, and it's probably pretty convenient for them to just walk a couple feet over to the food court. So kind of crazy to think about, and definitely one of the sadder parts of a dying mall. Here's one for all of my millennial friends that love internet buzzwords. We have this very liminal ATM machine. Something about this just felt odd. It was in the middle of nowhere, just kind of floating by itself, and it definitely felt very liminal. So Brent caught this pretty cool little spot that we thought was a neat way to repurpose a space. This was an old storefront that was now being used for what appeared to be RC car drag races, which we thought was pretty cool. I wish that they would have been there so we could have seen some in action. Before we fully left the food court area, I did want to take a little better look at this little corner spot. I'm not sure what this used to be, maybe some sort of cafe if I had to guess, but for some reason it was just piquing my interest. I think the fact that it was so open and symmetrical, I just really liked the way that it looked and I was drawn towards it. So now we can move on towards this shorter wing of the mall and see what is down here. As you can see, we've got some sort of closed business that almost looks apocalyptic. I'm not sure what's going on there. And then we have Fun For You, which is just a generic arcade. And I'm not gonna lie, this place got me good. It is extremely deceiving, and you'll see what I mean by that in the next clip. But look at this real close, okay? This place looked huge. Keyword, looked. And that is because they were using some trickery with the lights that you'll see at the ceiling there and the mirrored walls that you'll see kind of at the top of the screen. They made this place look absolutely massive from the outside. And once you got inside, you realized that it is probably a quarter of the size of your expectations, which a lot of females have told me about myself over the years. But that is beside the point. They got me good with this one. I was walking in expecting something the size of a Chuck E. Cheese, and I did not get that. So I've got a little bit of respect for them for being able to pull that one off, but I'm also pretty disappointed because I thought maybe I had found a pretty dope little arcade that I could come back to and have a little bit of fun in, but I just don't think that that is going to be the case. So we will go back out to the main part of the mall and see what else there is to be found. Across the hall, we have another wing with an exit and absolutely nothing to see down here. And I mean that. I think that there is literally just a little security spot on the left down there, and that's it. So we proceeded back past the food court, and we are about to get into some more liminal territory. Dead storefront after dead storefront after dead storefront. So this spot was kind of cool, and honestly it took me a little too long to realize what it was. Initially I thought that maybe there was another RC car spot in the building, but this is actually a putt-putt golf spot, which I thought was neat. It's not a very good one, but it is what it is. So here's the little kids play area that is extremely underwhelming compared to other malls, and another spot that I didn't realize that we had, which, duh, every mall has a Spencer's, but we have a Spencer's, and that is news to me. So I thought that this was a pretty interesting thing, and also a good tell of how sad malls have become. This entire kiosk was rented by the Girl Scouts and just had a few random boxes of Girl Scout cookies displayed on it. And I don't know, I just get weird vibes from this, but I guess that is the day and age that we live in, and this is what malls have become. As we continue on, we see this very generic off-brand Build-A-Bear, which I feel like is also at every mall now. I don't ever really see a real Build-A-Bear, I just see these off-brand ones. Then we have this wing here that literally only houses the JCPenney. There is a storefront to my right side, but that is just an extension of the off-brand Build-A-Bear. This is like a little party room that they would use if you guys were having some sort of Build-A-Bear party. You see the guy on the right side of the screen in the red flannel? I want you to remember him because he is going to play an important part in this video a little later on. And I guess I lied, it wasn't just the JCPenney's, there is also this tattoo shop, which I'm sure just does incredible work being in a mall and all. I don't know, maybe they do, but 20 years ago we would have laughed at any sort of flea market or mall tattoo shop. Here we've also got the mall management office, and then of course the JCPenney, which, boring, not going in there. It's boring. After definitely not going into the JCPenney because that's boring, we found this cool cotton candy vending machine. I'm not a big fan of cotton candy, but whatever. Then we found, you guessed it, another dead storefront. And every time I see these places, especially once I go up to the graded chain and I look in, I can't help but think, damn, I could put a lot of my stuff in there. Like, how cool would some of my collections look in these big, open, well-lit spaces? A boy can dream, right? Now, this next spot definitely caught our eye. With both Brent and myself being avid Pokemon collectors, we decided to swing into this game and card shop and see exactly what they had to offer. I didn't leave with any Pokemon cards, but I did pick up 2 of my all-time favorite PS2 games. Back outside, I saw the black quarter hole of death, and I wondered how many quarters were inside of this thing, because I want them. This was also a good opportunity to show you just how empty this mall really was, because there was no one for hundreds and hundreds of feet. It was crazy. Oh, there's Red Flannel Guy again. I wonder what he's doing, walking so close to all the walls in this mall. We continued down this wing and we saw OP Haberdashery? What the hell? And then we saw another dead storefront. I can't tell exactly what that is, but I can tell you that I could probably put a lot of masks in there. Real cool glass windows on the other side, and then if you look at the other side of the hall, you'll see another dead storefront, but this one is strange. I'm not sure what's up with these kind of weird folding glass door things, but it was the only one in this building that had that, and there was a giant black tarp on the inside. Here we have a store that is exclusively for the worst people that you've ever met in your life. I hate places like this that just sell really expensive brand new things that look handcrafted but aren't. So at this point we had made our way all the way around the center of the mall and back to the food court entrance, and I had noticed something during this walk. I wasn't the only person walking around not shopping. There were all sorts of people, including, you guessed it, Red Flannel Guy, and I wondered what was going on here. I was wondering if I had missed some sort of gym and these people were here doing workouts, But shortly after this visit, I actually watched a retail archaeology video and I heard about mall walkers, and it all made sense. These people were here walking around the mall to get their steps in for the day because it wasn't the nicest day outside. And I thought that that was pretty cool. So at this point, I was getting pretty hungry, and I decided that for the sake of the video, I would have some Auntie Anne's. Oh, there's Red Flannel Guy again. And believe it or not, I've never actually had Auntie Anne's, so this was my first time trying it. I just got the basic cup of pretzels with a cheese sauce, and I had to pay for the cheese sauce separately, which I felt was pretty weird. Like, how are you going to have a pretzel-based store and not include one of the dipping sauces with your cup of pretzels? That's super strange, but it was okay. I mean, they were pretzels and cheese sauce. That's pretty much it. As we started to make our way out of the mall, I spotted another little corner spot that looked like it used to be some sort of food place, and this one had a gate that was halfway up while the rest were all closed, and I thought that that was kind of cool. I guess another running theme with this video is that I think things are cool. Who would have guessed? So it looks like the last stop in this wing right here is going to be this absolutely insane Easter store. I do know that Easter was about a week away at the time that I filmed this video, but this seemed very, very strange to me. Like, everything in this store was Easter related, so I thought that that was kind of strange. Now, I'll quickly cut to across the hall because we just thought that this was kind of funny. This vending machine was literally cut into the drywall. Like, it was placed in the wall, and then they just poorly cut the drywall around it. And if that isn't a sign that you just don't care anymore, then I don't know what is. Now, we are in the absolute last stretch before we head back to the car. We've got what looks to be a photography studio. We've got some sort of just awful clothing store, OP Gallo. It looks like they're making stuff strictly for, like, proms, maybe? I don't know. All of it was terrible, though. We've got Marvin's Room, which is a place in this mall for sure. And then finally, the last stop of the day, Dick's Sporting Goods, which I'm also not going into because if you've seen one Dick's, you've seen them all. Now, before we go, I thought I would leave you guys with some external shots of the mall, and that didn't work the way that I wanted it to because I was actually in time-lapse mode on the GoPro. Gotta love GoPro, but from these quick little snippets here, you can see the backside of the mall. You can see what they are working on constructing, which I assume is Rural King, and you can see the Cinemark Theater, which is completely separate. You can't get to it from the inside of the mall, which I thought was strange. So there you have it, River Valley Mall in Lancaster, Ohio, as of March 2026. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. This was just something fun for me to do because I want to. I'm getting more and more interested in this style of content, and I want to make 2026 the year where I shoot the things that I want to shoot, and that is that. And I'm a pretty nostalgic guy, and being a product of the 90s, malls have a special spot in my heart. So let me know down below if you enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to see some more, there are a few other malls that I'm familiar with that I would definitely hit up. But as far as today goes, I am out of here. So take it easy, and I'll catch you in the next one.